No, he's the same age as us. Guys, we live and man, we early with you tonight. We early with you tonight on the Coach Reed Live Show because we got a big game tonight. We got the national championship game. So we got to come on before the game and really get busy tonight and get into some of this. Now, we were making a joke right as we were coming on here. Clay looks young, Smoke, and he acts young. But he ain't young. You know what I mean?
He young in the spirit, young in the soul.
He's the same age as us, you know.
He don't look it.
Yeah, he's the same age as us, you know. So I'm gonna come off the top rope right off the bat. We're gonna talk some NFL. Right?
You see the stadium behind me, don't you? Live and direct, Bills and lights. Come on.
I see it, man. So let's talk about that game first. The Baltimore Ravens. A lot of people felt like this was Baltimore's time. Lamar having another MVP type season. What did Buffalo do to get it done?
Nothing. Buffalo played one of their worst games yesterday, and they didn't win the game. Baltimore lost that game. From Lamar playing one of his worst games that I've seen this year, and having his characteristic awful playoff games, right? So he threw one interception, bad one, then the bad fumble, the first 2-point conversion, that was a layup. That's one, when he took that throwaway shot last week against Pittsburgh and held his hand up. Yeah. That's what he should have done to Milano. So that was a fail and a bad throw on his part. Then the 2-point conversion, 1,000% Mark Andrews should have caught that ball. But sprint right option, Reed, put that ball on that front shoulder or put it on my face mask so I can see where I am in terms of space and pylon. Because if you saw it, and everybody saw the play, Lamar clutched the ball because he wanted to run the ball in. But he clutched it, paused, and threw the ball it hit him in his belly. But Mark Andrews had to kill his feet, back up, awful day already that he was having, and he just did not make the receiver's job any easier. And everybody knows the quarterback's job, make the receiver's job easier, receiver catch any ball that's within your parameter. So the Bills just held true to not turning the ball over and just made Baltimore lose the game and hand the game right off to him.
Is he still supposed to make that play, though, Smokers? Andrew's supposed to make that catch.
Yeah.
Sean King made the tweet where he talked about Lamar throwing a bad ball. He didn't put it right there. But, I mean, the Ravens had the ball at their own 4-yard line. Lamar brings you 96 yards, scores the touchdown, and puts the 2-point conversion pass right in your breadbasket.
You said push. It's a perfect word that you said. He pushed the ball right in there. He didn't place the ball where he was supposed to. He held the ball, held, and shotgunned it right into his head. Now, listen, Reed, Mark Andrews is an all-pro, one of the better receivers in our lifetime. Should he have made that catch 1,000%? But when you are the reigning MVP and you are the quarterback, if you are a good enough quarterback and you understand placing the football, the first thing you said is, you know what? I did not give my receiver the best opportunity to make the play for us. I put that on me. You go back and you look at what Josh did last week in the game that he got my man Sugar Ray Davis blown up by the safety that concussed him. Soon as Josh let the ball go, you saw the look on his face like, oh my God, I led him into that hit. And he said it. I should have thrown it on his back shoulder to make sure he sat down and you didn't get blown up. Now, the throw that Lamar made, if there was a guy outside of Mark Andrews and there was a guy on the inside of him and he's going to get blown up, yeah, throw it there so he sit down. But that was a wide open throw. There was 3-4 yards of just open receiver. Get it out, throw the ball out in front of him, let him catch it, tie game, we're going to overtime.
Brandon, does another loss for Lamar Jackson in the playoffs start to mess with his legacy or maybe how the fans see him?
Yeah. Anytime you start talking about losses, right? Like, we are LeBron James. the way we perceive LeBron because he loses in the finals. Like, that's definitely our country. You hate it for Lamar because he's losing to really good people, right? It's like he's losing to bums. He's losing to Josh Allens and Mahomes and great quarterbacks. But, yeah, at some point you got to find a way to win those games. And I think the Smoke's point, and again, we've all seen the play hundreds of times on social media. Mark probably catches that 9 times out of 10. Even on a tough night, he just didn't catch it. But you want to put that where only he can get it out in front and let Mark run under that thing. And Smoke's right. You're going into overtime, and we're talking about Lamar completely differently today. Had he done that and maybe given them a chance. And again, Carl, you made a great point. Drove them down the field, put them in position to win. Football's a game of inches. You hear that all the time. A game of inches, a game of, a yard or less, right? And that's just a great example of where the game came down to inches, and the football placement gave Mark a chance to not make the catch. You wanted to make it so egregious that it would have had to literally go through his hands for him to not catch it, and not him have to be able to stop, come back on the dime where he already had fumbled the football, and then have to make a tough catch. That's all.
What does Baltimore need to do, Smoke, to get over the hump?
You know what, Reed? And I was talking to my good friend Jim Monis. I don't know if Baltimore. I think this is what they are. I don't know if they can get over the hump. They have really a 3-headed monster looking them in the face. They got a Joe Burrow, they got Josh Allen, and they got a guy, C.J. Stroud, that's brewing up down in Houston with DeMeco Ryans. That's going to have something to say about what happens in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of playing football and playing for the ultimate ring, which is the Super Bowl. Like, this is one of the best years that you can actually know that the Baltimore Ravens played football this year. Lamar, MVP season. Derrick Henry, MVP-like season himself. On defense, they started out slow. Dean Pease came in and helped out young Zach Orr. And they had the number one defense, number one offense, number one defense. And special teams is not going to ever be an issue. So this is the best run that they actually could have put together, and this is what they came up with. This is what it is. The Baltimore Ravens are built to beat the Buffalo Bills, and they can't do it. The Buffalo Bills are built to beat Kansas City. So if you're constructing your team to specifically go into another team's home field and you still can't get it done, and they're not playing their best, you just got to look at yourself and say, listen, this is who we are. Because they're not getting rid of Lamar.
So
this is what it is.
John in our Instagram chat, he says, Smoke, you need to knock it off. Andrews has to catch that ball, period. He says, cut it out.
Oh, no, I think John has – I'm agreeing with everyone in saying that Mark Andrews has to catch the ball. But if you're the quarterback coach, Reed, and you're coaching Lamar Jackson, and all of us put our quarterback coach hat on, sprint right option, going to the pylon, where do you want the ball to be placed? And I'm not talking about
upfield show.
Right. But if we're talking about Mitchell Trubisky, Ryan Pickett, and the lower third quarterbacks in the NFL, and they make that throw, you're like, whoo, at least they got it out their hands. But when you're talking about one of the top 2 to 3 players in the NFL, it's your job to make everybody else's job easier around you. That's all I'm saying.
So, Smoke, I just think, when we start to talk about Lamar Jackson, and you named Josh Allen, you named C.J. Stroud, you named
Joe Burrow.
Mahomes. You didn't even talk about Mahomes.
Yeah.
You didn't even talk about Mahomes. The best quarterbacks in the league are all on that side of the division. Mm-hmm. And so I had somebody on the show I was on earlier today ask me, what does Baltimore need to do to get over the hump? Sometimes when it's just good on good, it just is what it is. Like this is what happens when you get into big time games and it's just good on good, best team versus best team, right? The elements, whatever they are, it's all about 2 to 3 plays that change the course of the game. And you got to go back. Baltimore went for 2 twice. So we got to talk about special teams. Those are potentially the 2 points that you needed. If you kick it the first time and then you're down by 1 and you can just kick the PAT and take that into overtime. So special teams also plays a role.
But Reed, both plays were designed and they were both wide open.
Yes.
The person that did not make the correct throw on both of them was Lamar Jackson. Matt Milano knocked the first one down, and all he had to do was just lob it over his head. Likely was coming scot-free, wide open. Nobody around him. Perfect design by Coach Monken on both of those. It's just, I think we're talking about Lamar Marino that just playoffs just can't get it right.
Tough.
And it's Dan Marino is one of the best quarterbacks in our lifetime.
It just hurt. I mean, I want to see him. I'm biased, and I want to see him be successful. It's tough, and he's got to go into another offseason, continue to improve, and take a shot at it again next year.
Reed, if he would have said, I have to make those throws, I would think that he understands what his issues are. I did not hear him say it one time. All I heard was turnovers. That's high school. Everyone in America knows that you turn the ball over, or we'll say 4 because those 2-point conversion I count as turnovers as well too. You threw that interception. You should have no business throwing that ball at that time, but it was like a punt. Fine, but that fumble, it can't happen. Not when you're going in to get points.
So we're gonna move to the next playoff game. We're getting trolled real quick here, Smoke. This Tarlin and Wimby. Now this is gonna tickle Smoke to death. So I'm having a family debate today, and we're talking about the family reunion is in Detroit.
Oh no, it's not. Can't be. You're from St. Louis.
The family reunion is in Detroit. So I'm telling them how far of a drive Detroit is from where we at, and I say I definitely know where the city I was born in is at. Mm-hmm. So this is my son in the chat saying, "What's your hometown? Is my hometown Detroit where I was born? Or is it St. Louis where I was raised?" It's definitely St. Louis. I thought you'd get a kick out of that, Smoke.
Because, we had that discussion. I told you, man, I'm Jamaican. That's where I was born at. My birthday, Jamaica.
No, you're not Jamaican. Your dad is Jamaican. But you are as American as apple pie.
I am Jamaican.
Big Smoke is Jamaican.
Big Smoke.
Aki and Salt.
You're the little one, yo.
Yeah. Big Smoke's Jamaican, not the little one. Listen, so I want to give you. You got an Alabama A&M shirt on today. It caught my attention. Why are we repping Alabama A&M today, Smoke?
Man, my big brother Sam Shade just got hired as the head coach for Alabama A&M Bulldogs, and my best friend Antonio Carter, the best receiver coach that I've been around, just got this receiver coach, the offensive coordinator, Dennis Alexander, both of my classmates. Watch out. We come in part 2. Reed, we got to stand up and shoot for all these guys. For Deshaun, Sam, Mike Vick, Prime. Listen, it's a movement going on right now.
Deshaun Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. DJ.
Listen, let me tell you this. First off, the greatest quarterback in the history of Alabama A&M, Aqeel Glass, played for me. I was his high school coach. I'm a huge Alabama A&M fan. Aqeel Glass won the SWAC while he was at Alabama A&M, beat my boy Prime at Jackson State. And he was the first team quarterback. Should do his freshman year.
So Reed, we got to pull up on Shade, man.
We got to pull up. We got to pull up. I'm gonna get Aqeel to meet us there and show us around Huntsville. I'm gonna get him to come down there. We're gonna do it. Alabama A&M. I had a great talk the other night also with Deshaun Jackson. He's gonna do great things at Delaware State. He's excited. He's putting a very good class together, right? His staff is looking good. I'm excited. We're gonna go out there this spring and check out D-Jack also.
And Reed, you know what we need to do? We need to put this thing together and really pull up every Saturday and go check our homies out.
We're going to do that.
Saturday, let's pull up live.
We're going to
Let's do it live.
So let's talk about the other games real quick. Then we're going to get into the college game because we're going to kick off shortly for the national championship. So we got our divisional finalists. Kansas City is going to be who the Baltimore Ravens play. It was no doubt to me that Kansas City was gonna win. I don't think that Houston, they're not ready for that step yet. They getting there. C.J. Stroud still has some work to do. What does Buffalo need to do though, Smoke, to have a chance to beat the Giant, to beat Kansas City?
Well, I was listening to Shady McCoy speak this week. I forgot what podcast that he was on. But he said, Big Red, Andy Reid always said this before every big game. Your best players on offense, your two best players, they have to play their best. And the best two players on defense, they have to play their best. In big-time games like this, Josh Allen, James Cook, they got to show up, and they have to play their tails off on offense. Defensively, they got to get a closer, and that's Von Miller, Matt Milano. They have to show up and play their best games of the season against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, because I know Patrick going to show up and play. And you know the closer on defense, Chris Jones, is going to show up and play. So your best players, when we get to the playoffs, they have to play their best games. Anything else, go home and go fishing. Cancun, Miami, wherever you want to go get some sand on your toes.
Brandon, can Buffalo beat Kansas City?
Yeah, if there's ever a year, it's this year, right? Down Rashee Rice, there's no Juju Smith-Schuster. There's no wide receiver one, right? Rashee Rice, I thought, was a huge difference maker, especially down the stretch for them in the playoffs last year. That guy doesn't exist. They went out and signed a couple of different guys. Obviously, D-Hop is giving up some stuff, but this is the older version. It's not the same, right? Rashee was bailing them out 7, 101, 8, 120, and 2. And then obviously Travis does what he does. They were getting 2 out of that from a receiver standpoint. They don't have that this year. If there's ever a year that you're going to get Kansas City, I feel like this is it, because they're limited in their weaponry around Mahomes. So to your point, Smoke, the defense for Buffalo has got to really dig their heels in, keep Kansas City under 24 and under, right what they did with the Ravens. And if they do that, they're going to give the offense a chance to win. And the Josh will have to make a couple plays with his arm, right? Whether it's Khalil, whether it's James out of the backfield, one of the tight ends in the room. They got a good room of tight end there. They're going to have to figure that out somehow, where you have to plan. If you're playing Kansas City, you got to think you're going to have to get to 27 points. If you can get it done at 21, fine, great. If you can get it done 21-17, great. But you have to be planning in your mind, we got to find a way to 20, 25, and our defense has got to find a way to keep them at 24 and below. Anything other that's a bonus, my humble opinion.
And to be exact, Josh Allen has to have the ball in his hands when the clock's running out. Patrick Mahomes cannot have the ball in his hands with time on the clock. I don't care if you're kneeling it or you're going in for a score. Patrick can't have the ball at the end of the game. It has to be Josh.
Is Patrick the greatest quarterback of all time, Smoke?
Yeah.
Over Brady?
Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm in a group chat with some maniacs, and I tell everybody, Tom Brady won it 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put Mahomes with him yet.
Well,
he still got some more to go. And he beat Mahomes for one of them.
Yeah, and Patrick, and if you remember the one that he beat Patrick in, Patrick didn't have the ball at the end. Brady did. And you remember, what's our guy named from number 55, Ford. D. Ford lined up offside. D. Ford don't line up offside. Game's over. Right. So that was somewhat gifted to him. But Patrick came back and got his revenge and did what he had to do. But just understand this. I am not afraid of Tom Brady with the ball in his hand at the end of the game. Like Tom in that formula, just hear me out. Tom in that formula of New England won games. You are scared out of your mind if you're up by 13 points with 1 minute left and Patrick has the ball in his hands because he's going to score. And then some way, somehow, they're going to get the ball back and you're sitting over there biting your nails. I've never felt that. I played against Tom. I knew that the New England system with him and everything else, you were going to lose that game. But standing on the sideline, I was in that same room that traded the rights for the Kansas City Chiefs to get Patrick Mahomes. So I'm living it every single time I see it. I'm just not afraid of one guy like I am Patrick Mahomes.
You do know Brady won one when he left New England.
Well, let me say it.
I'm with you.
Go ahead.
Let me say that. Smoke, I feel you. I feel you. As an Atlanta Falcons fan, I'm afraid. I'm still afraid, man. I still don't sleep well tonight. You know what I mean? Like that's a different. I mean, and I understand what you're saying. I don't even disagree with you. Yeah. I'm just reliving what I watched in real time. Yeah. We were huge, and Julian Edelman, score. They just walked us down, man.
But that wasn't time. Like if you remember, like the turning point of that game was Kyle Shanahan allowing Dalvin Cook to be in pass pro against Dante Hightower, a 260-pound linebacker running through your guy and hitting your quarterback for you to turn the ball over. All they had to do was turn around and hand the ball over. And I'm not saying Brady's not great. He is. But every comeback,
Listen, man.
13
saying
that Buffalo should have been in the championship game. It was Patrick.
You saying that Brady, people not scared of Brady at the end of the games, is this ludicrous as putting on two left shoes.
I'm not saying that people aren't afraid of Brady. I'm just saying I am terrified of Patrick with the ball in his hands with any amount of time left. Brady with the ball in his hand, as long as I get in Brady's face, he can't do nothing with it. Patrick's going to create something with the ball in his hands to give every one of his receivers a chance to get open and a chance to get the ball. That's all.
Tom Brady also stopped Andy Reid from winning some championships in Philly too.
Agreed.
I would just give Brady the same respect, but I'm not. You know me, I split a hair at this point, but I feel like they're equal to me, like the way that I view them. For me, just the way I perceive them when I watch a game. If I'm playing against Mahomes or Brady late in the game, I'm like, oh, here we go again. Like I feel that there aren't very many people I feel that way about. Durant, right? Durant gets the ball late and here we go again. Any of those people, I just don't want to see them with the ball in the hand. So I think both of them to me are like that. But Smoke, I feel you. I don't even disagree. That's just my take on it.
And Reed, and I'm just saying greatness in terms of accolades, performance, and play. But if you're asking me just one quarterback, if I was building my team, remove everything away from it, just physical traits, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers over everybody all day, every day, and it's not close for me.
We're gonna get into that another time. I'm not going. Let's go to the NFC Championship. NFC, we got Philly going against. Oh my God.
The Commanders, baby.
The Commanders. Philly going against Jay Daniels. Excuse me. Philly going against Jay Daniels. Who do you get an edge to, Brandon? Who do you go with, Philly and the Commanders?
Saquon Barkley is the best non-quarterback in the league. I think it's Philly's to lose. If Saquon has a Saquon day, they're gonna find a way to win. What he's doing right now is unbelievable. I will say this though, Smoke. I think you'll feel me on this. Shout out to my guy, Sean Stick Smith, assistant coach at Northeastern. Huge Commanders fan, has been through some rough patches with his team. He go back to the Doug Williams days. It's great. Terry McLaurin is the best skill guy in the league that no one ever talks about. That guy is so good at football.
Scary Terry.
Oh, my gosh. It is unbelievable. Like, he just, every single week, and him and Jaden now are kind of rocking. Zach Ertz. I mean, you mess around. Not to mention Brian Robinson and that crew, Eckler. I mean, they've got guys. They got Olamide Zaccheaus played for the Falcons. He's given them great snaps this year to the point where they're not even able to get Luke McCaffrey touches, Benson not touches. Those guys are playing snaps, but they can't get them the football. They have so many weapons. And then Dan Quinn, what a resurgence. The willingness to continually go for it on fourth down. The percentages, I believe they're in the 80th percentile plus in terms of conversions on fourth down. What a difference. I remember watching him at the end of his Falcons tenure, and he was a shell of himself the beginning. And for him to go to Dallas, do what he did there, and then come, and obviously him and Cliff too. You talk about a resurrection for Cliff. Those guys have got Jaden Daniels looking like he's the next one, and he's obviously good. So it's not like they've done something with a stiff. He could play anyway. But they put him in position very early in his career to take advantage of the weaponry around him. And again, Saquon's the best non-quarterback in the league. So I think Philly has the Vegas line edge, but don't be surprised at all if Washington finds a way to be within one score. And if Jaden Daniels has the ball with one score, I believe.
It's crazy to me. I wonder what those guys are doing that were cleaning out his locker at Arizona State.
Hey, they probably just finished up cleaning up their locker, man. They were with Dillingham, maybe.
Hey, you know what? When you just said Arizona State, whoever was in charge of putting those guys together in terms of personnel and players, outstanding job.
Yeah.
from Pearsall to Jaden Daniels, like that. They had
some dudes.
They had players, man.
They had some dudes.
I mean,
we need to go back and find out who was putting the roster together.
They need to do a 30-30 on that. And if it had anything to do with Antonio Pierce doing that, shout out to him. Any way that he got it done, it got done. But Reed, you know what? Just even going back and just recapping that Detroit game, man, what a job by Anthony Lynn, Cliff Kingsbury, and that offensive staff in Washington. Like Aaron Glenn got after Sam Darnold a few weeks ago and blitzed the heck out of him. Mm-hmm. Did not blitz Jaden Daniels not one time. Mm-hmm. Now, shame on him, but I get it. You blitz him, nobody there. We know what the recipe is. That's called disaster. But I thought they could have done a better job with that. I think this would be one of the classics, man. But go ahead, Reed.
Who are your Super Bowl picks? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Damn, it's hard not to go against my Bills, man. But my heart is telling me Kansas City, so I'm gonna rock with Kansas City, and I'm gonna say the Philadelphia Eagles, despite of the inability of their quarterback play, find a way to keep away long enough from the Commanders and get back and have a rematch. And I think we see a three-peat, and we put up Mahomes on Mount Rushmore, and you slide that other guy by.
I'm going Kansas City and Philly. And you know what's interesting? You made a good point about Jalen Hurts, and obviously there's a ton of talk. I was listening to some sports radio on the way to a game today, and they're like, man, the Eagles and Nick Sirianni, if they don't win it all, they shouldn't get an extension. And I'm like, yo, it's funny what, you having some success does to the narrative, right? It changes the goalposts. Jalen Hurts was never a great passer. Never. He wasn't a great passer at Bama. He wasn't a great passer at Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts is a great winner. There's a difference, right? Like guys like him find ways to just bring the win home. And I don't feel like what I'm watching is any different. I do think that when the season's over, we're going to find out something like he's a little more banged up than they're telling us. I know everybody's hurt this time of year. That's not what I'm saying. But there's something that's a little more serious than what we know, right? But he just finds ways to bring wins home. He doesn't throw 4 interceptions like Jared Goff. He never gives the game away. Kirk Cousins threw the Chargers 5 picks in a game this year. Jalen Hurts never does that. If it's not there, he takes the hit. He throws it out of bounds. He lives to play another play, and it allows Saquon Barkley to do what he does. He never throws the Eagles out of games. So I just think there's a lot to be said for that as someone who's watched, unfortunately, some bad football this year, and not to mention Goff, who's multiple occasions, 4 or 5 picks in the game. Stop throwing the ball, man. It's not there. Just stop throwing. Put the ball in David Montgomery's hands. Put the ball in Gibbs' hands. Live to see another – or put the ball in the stands. Live to play another play. Jameson Williams throwing picks. Like, what are we doing? Stop throwing picks. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles never give away possessions. And because of that, they're always in a position to win football games. So that's why I'm going with the Eagles. Shout out to my guy. If the Redskins, if the Commanders win, great, so be it. But I feel like Jalen Hurts and Barkley will put them in a position to not throw the game away, which gives you a chance to win this week and advance on the Super Bowl.
We talk about throwing the ball, how well somebody does it, how well they don't do it. We break down skill sets all the time, but winning is a skill. Mm-hmm. And some guys, like you just said about Jalen Hurts, find ways to win. They don't beat themselves. They play within themselves. And they make their team very confident and comfortable because you have a chance to win with that guy. And that's what Philly has going. I think Philly beats Washington. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a superstar in this league, and we'll be talking about him for the next, 10 to 12. But right now, I think that I'm going to give Philly the edge in that NFC game. Go ahead, Smoke.
Can I pour a little bit of rubbing alcohol on y'all open wound of praising Jalen Hurts and being so mediocre?
Go ahead.
Because what both of you guys said are so true, but lacks the ability to win big games against really good players. I don't think Philly's team is set up for them just to compete and be mid or just show up to championship games or get to the Super Bowl. Offensively, they have 2 Hall of Fame tackles.
Yes.
Okay. They have a top 2 to 3 tandem in terms of wide receivers and tight ends. So if you say who has the best skill players in the NFL, running back, tight ends, receivers, yeah, it'd be a hard argument not to say it's Philly. So offensively, what's the problem?
Philly should be the favorite then, what you're saying.
Philly should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl if you're going player for player.
Well, I was going there next. I do think Philly's going to win the Super Bowl. I think Philly's going to beat Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
No shot. The reason why you can't win games is because the most important position in football, the quarterback. Your quarterback week in and week out has let you down, and he's looked worse this year. There are some throws that are high school gimmick throws. There's a reason why your star receiver is over there reading books about being calm on the sideline because he's gotten 3 targets at him. 2 dirt balls in 1 oops. I don't even know what I'm throwing at. So I get what you're saying, but I totally disagree. It's a shame that the Philadelphia fans and organization truly have to live and play with this guy at quarterback. Can they get better? Reed, I'm telling you. I just told you he don't get touched on offense. He gets himself touched by running into things. Lane Johnson and Jordan are 2 Hall of Fame players. The interior of the offensive line, I think they have one of the best offensive line coaches in America. They have a 2,000-yard rusher. There's AJ, Smitty, Dallas. On defense, dude, they're loaded. The fact that we're having this discussion about them not walking into the Super Bowl is the same thing as Ohio State not walking away with a national championship. When you have the flat-out best players, but the worst player that on your team is the most important player, yeah, that's a problem.
Well, we're going to go right into the conversation, and we're going to end with this because we all about to go watch kickoff here shortly. For all the marbles tonight, we got Ohio State, and we got Notre Dame. We got Ryan Day, and we got Marcus Freeman. 2 teams that early in the season, nobody would have thought they would be here after Ohio State loses to Oregon, got beat up at Michigan. Then when Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois, and Thomas Hammock said, hey, if you want to know something, call me. I'll educate you.
I'm glad he called him.
Right? So who are we going with tonight and why? Smoke, I'm going to start with you.
I'm going to go with Ohio State just because they have the best team that money can buy. And personnel-wise, from player to player, they're leaps and bounds above Notre Dame except one guy, the running back, Jeremiah Love. And I just think they're too talented. 24-14 is what I'm gonna say.
B, who you got?
Same thing. You wish Notre Dame had one more skill guy on the outside, right? Riley Leonard doesn't throw the ball extremely well. You need a guy that can put the ball in spots and places. You got Caleb Downs ball hawking at any moment, ready to make a play. Ohio State's good, man. I mean, they're good. We'll see. I mean, Jeremiah Love would have to have one of those nights, right? A night that we talk about for years. The kid Jitty against Oregon, he's got to have one of those 200, 210, 3 touchdowns. And heck, the way he hurdled dude in the semifinal, he might just get it done, right? But he's going to have one of those types of nights, I think, that we speak about for the next 20 years in order to give Notre Dame a legitimate shot. What I can say about Notre Dame is I truly believe, and Reed, you know this. I got times. I've been a Marcus Freeman advocate for a couple of years now, right? Yeah. Christian Gray was in high school, and I was talking about I like Marcus Freeman's demeanor.
Where's Christian Gray from?
The Loop, and he's proud. But when you look at what he's done, I feel like he really has those guys believing. And those guys are good enough. Sometimes you're getting guys to believe they're not good enough. You look, that roster is littered with 4-star guys, some 5-star talent. There's enough talent for them to compete tonight. And please believe Marcus Freeman and staff are going to have a game plan. Those guys are going to go and try to execute it. They're going to stay on task. And one thing that Riley Leonard has not done this year is throw them out of games, right? He hasn't thrown them out. They might not score it very often. They might struggle to move the ball, but they're going to punt it on 4th down. Marcus Freeman is not going to get out of his bag. So as long as they do that tonight, you give yourself a chance for Will Howard to be subpar. That's all you can ask for. You need Will Howard to be subpar. Smoke, we've talked about this since the summer.
You got a lot of that in him.
Listen, you don't need the Will Smith or Will Howard that took Oregon. Yeah. You don't need Will Howard to be the guy that had Oregon looking crazy, right? Balls all over the place. Jeremiah, Mecca, you name it. They were just all over the place, cooking them boys. You need the Will Howard you saw against Michigan. You got to find a way to get the hand in his face. You got to find a way to, Smoke would say, dirty the line up. And get a hand up, get some bat downs, get him uncomfortable. Do not let him get into a rhythm. And if they can do that, Notre Dame's got a chance. I think Ohio State's the better team. I'm going with Ohio State. But that's the scenario that it would take, I think, for Notre Dame to be able to compete. They can't shoot them out. They can't go 38-35. They're not built for that. They've got to keep that thing sub-24. Jeremiah Love, give him a chance to win it. And dirty the pocket on Will Howard. Make him give Christian Gray the football. Because Christian Gray will take it if you give it to him.
Smoke and I talked during the summer about Ohio State a lot, and Smoke was as critical of Ryan Day and Ohio State as he has been about any coach in any team. At the end of the day, Ohio State has the best team. And I think that they have incredible coaches. I think Ryan Day is a good football coach.
Agreed.
And I think he did something that nobody pays attention to. He gave up the play calling so he can get more involved with the team. And now he has Chip Kelly to call plays. Jim Knowles has done a phenomenal job with the defense. And I think he had the right strategy. I think that Ryan Day coached this season like an NFL coach who understood he didn't have to go undefeated. He didn't have to win the Big Ten. The only thing he had to do was be in the playoffs. And he coached his team like that. He didn't empty the clip against Oregon in the regular season. He didn't empty the clip against Michigan because he knew that they were going to be here in this moment. Remember, Smoke, Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, what did they say this summer about Ohio State's team?
Best team on paper since 2001 Miami that he's ever seen.
If Ohio State doesn't win tonight, it would be a major letdown for the people in the state of Ohio.
Agreed.
I think you got Caleb Downs is going to be the best player on the field tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And you loaded it. The only position where you could be better potentially is Jeremiah Love.
And even still, you got Henderson and you
got Henderson,
Duckins.
you got Duckins. And you could put Caleb Downs back there also if you needed to in the game.
Hey, Reed, a quick thought on this. This is a night where Notre Dame hasn't missed him yet because they haven't played anybody that can open the field up. They're going to miss Benjamin Morrison tonight in the worst way possible. He would have given you somebody that potentially could have taken Smith, right? Which allows Gray now to play a Mecca. Like, it's just tough. Now the matchups get really tricky. You know, you can't replace a guy like Morrison. You just have to hope the other team doesn't have a guy like Smith. Tonight, for the first time in the playoff, they're going up against somebody that's got multiple weapons at the wide receiver spot. Again, you got to dirty the pocket. You got to make Will throw it away. You got to make him turn over the football, or you're going to be in trouble. If he's got time to throw it to those guys, you can't cover. You just can't.
Guys, we're going to go with that for tonight. Smoke, you got something?
Red zone defense, red zone offense, explosive plays by both Jeremiahs, Love and Smith. Both of those guys you don't see on offense. And red zone defense, Caleb Downs got to show up in red zone defense, and Jack Kaiser got to be the spot for Notre Dame.
Guys, we about to log off here and watch this game. We'll be tweeting about it throughout the night. Our group chat, I'm sure, will be going crazy.
Crazy.
And you never know. If it's a great game, I might come back on here tonight. If it's a classic. If it's one of those.
Welcome back, man.
All right. We'll see you
guys.
guys.
Be good, fellas.
Yeah.